What's up, everybody? Ian Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers, joined my partner, Ryan Walsh, Hard Money Bankers. Ryan, what's going on?
Hello. How's everyone?
We are joined with an excellent guest today. We have done, if you go way back on our YouTube channel, you can take a look at an earlier interview that we've done with Terese Brittingham. How you doing, Terese?
Awesome.
Cool. So just some background on you. You are in your space. You're the largest KW brokerage. And I knew that going into this in terms of, you have a lot of agents in your office, and we've been bringing people on this show that are experienced or have their hands on quite a bit of volume, maybe more than the average agent or person. And we do that because it gives a really good pulse on the marketplace as to what's happening. Because obviously, you can confirm that since last March, things are different.
Yes, they are different.
So with that said, before I'm sure you know Jeremy. Jeremy says hello. Jeremy Bauer says hello.
Hey,
He's
Jeremy.
KW guy in the Center City area.
He's awesome. I love Jeremy.
Yeah. So talk to us. Like, what's happened since last March, and then what are you guys doing differently, and how are you handling it?
Well, everything's different. I think one of the biggest things that we're seeing right now is that the agents especially are having to learn the business differently, right? We've been in such a unique marketplace that we have not seen in my 30 years in this business. I mean, we've seen markets that were kind of easy and a lot of people got in and then a lot of people got out. But this market is just really different, and it happened really quickly. So a lot of the agents that were in the business in the last 5 years haven't really experienced the lead gen and all of the things you need to do to build a really productive business. Even building the relationships, all the things that we had to do before are going to come back into play now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, how many agents actually hang in there, how many are going to get out of the business, how many will go into referral, because they're not willing maybe to do the work, or maybe they're scared of what the market's going to do. But I would say that is the biggest mistake they could be making. This business is fabulous. And when you start to build it the right way and build a really great foundation of skills, you can grow into a really, really nice agent and keep a business that can last you a lifetime. We've been doing this, is my partner in the background there. We've been doing this for 30 years. We still have a real estate team. We sell, almost 200 houses a year, and we keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on out there. And it's different because people have changed since the pandemic. Even clients and customers' attitudes are different than they used to be. I always say people are not quite as nice as they used to be. So customer service is even more and more important. Really getting to know the consumer and understand their personality types, the DISC, we've used that before. We have a couple other systems that we use, but teaching the agents the language of sales. How do you really get to know somebody to figure out how you need to talk to them? Because a lot of times it's how we like to receive information is how we give it. But in a market like this, you really have to make sure you're taking the time to understand the consumer, and you're changing the way that you're handling yourself so that you're attracting more people, especially because there's less deals to go around right now.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I mean, the last 2 or 3 interviews that we've done with some heavy hitters in the space, all singing the same song, which is like, okay, you're gonna have to be a real agent now. Like, this is the time to be a real agent. Like, real skills are gonna have to be involved. And what either the team leaders or the brokerage people at the brokerage are really focused on the educational end of like building those skill sets into place. Because 2 years ago, let's face it, like all you had to do was just show up at the office and there was a check for 20 grand waiting for you. Like, it was just crazy, right? But you're also correct. I've been saying this from where I stand, is that you look back from this point forward right now in 5 years, and you go, oh, how did that agent or how did that brokerage get so big so fast? They're so lucky. They must have, they did right place, right time. It's like, no, because right now is when they got in the business, they worked at it and they worked hard at it. And then they did things like you said, where you build like a foundation, as opposed to just, you just show up. There's a couple leads that come in, they close because everything could close. And then you don't even know what you did. Right. So I think we're going to see right now, there's going to be names that are going to come up in 5 years that are happening right now, building right now that are extremely talented, skilled individuals that recognize this. And all of a sudden you're going to hear their name. They're going to be on stage at the KW meeting in 5 years from now. And it wasn't luck. I mean, they carved it out right here, right now. So are your agents hearing that are they really hearing that and understanding it? Especially, I assume the ones that haven't really gone through something like this are like just trying to believe. The ones that have gone through it, obviously, you're like, okay, we know what to do.
Yeah.
What's the mix like that? What's the atmosphere?
It's well, we've been talking about it for a long time. I think that's the one thing about our company. You know, Gary wrote the book, the Shift book, which set us up for the last shift before the last shift came. And that's when our company grew the most, because we were ready. You know, we were ready. We were doing the basics, the things that needed to be done. And then, you know, I think the companies that kind of revisited those things early on instead of waiting too long to get the agents in the right mindset. It's all mindset at the end of the day. So we're hoping that our agents are in that mindset. We haven't lost, knock on wood. We've only lost 3 people, 2 out of the business, 1 to a competitor in the last like 3 months.
Under a whole brokerage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
in our office. Yeah, in our office. Our retention is our retention is great.
Cool. Yeah, that's incredible.
We have a great.
Is that normal? Is that normal turn? Like, let's just say in 3 months, you usually lose or gain a person a month. Like, is that average or is that high? Like, what would you say that is?
We try to gain 3 to 5 a month, and then we usually have 1 to 2 that go out. Just, natural attrition. We've had, unfortunately, people in this business are aging. We've had a few people that have passed away out of the business. So things happen, but we do pride ourselves on the culture here at the office. And I know everybody says culture, it's like this airy fairy thing. But it's really real. Our agents, we know every one of our agents, and there's, 260 of them. So it's, getting to know them at a deeper level. We have a really awesome staff here. So our goal is to make sure that we treat our agents better than anybody else could. So at the end of the day, are we getting them ready? Because that's our job. If they're not ready and they're failing in the business, it's because we're not doing something to get them to connect. So the ones that are coming in are obviously doing more of the business. So we keep on showing videos, and we do as much as we can to kind of mirror the behavior that we're looking, or model the behavior we're looking for the agents to do. And we're showing them that the ones that are coming up and getting the awards every month are the ones that are here every day. And there's a reason for that. So you have to come in, you've got to plug in. I love when I hear there's other people out there that say, you don't need to go be at the office. People in the office aren't going to buy houses from you. However, the people who sell the most houses are at the office. So it's learning and listening and just being a fly on the wall to hear negotiations, and how am I talking to my consumer versus how maybe you thought you should talk to your consumer, and how do you deal with home inspections? My gosh, we haven't had to do home inspections in how long? We have agents in the business that have never negotiated home inspection. I mean, these are really back to the basics things,
I've never
right?
Heard that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't had to do it. Appraisals. People were waiving appraisals. Now we're actually going in and we're fighting appraisal values. Well, people don't know how to do that anymore. So it's a new skill that they need to learn. Pricing a house. My gosh, that is such a big eye opener for most agents, because they've been in this market. And you just put a number on, and we're pretty much getting.
Yeah, you just let the seller tell you what the price is.
Right, and they're selling for more than that every single time. And now it's it's a different market, so now you need to look and you have to teach them. How do you really value what a property should be listed for, and explaining that if you overlist it and overshoot it, you're really harming the client. So that's a hard conversation to have with a consumer who knows their next door neighbor's house sold in 24 hours with 18 offers, and they got 100,000 over asking price. There's a whole different conversation that has to happen to make sure you're setting the expectation of the seller. So that's probably the biggest thing that I think agents are going to have to overcome right now, is the disappointment or the false ideas that clients have right now about what the value of the homes are. Values have gone up. Everybody should be very happy. Every house has gone up in value. And I don't expect that the values are going to fall back down. I think if we see a 3% waiver one way or the other, up or down, I'd be surprised before the end of this year. So I think that we're in a really good, solid spot right now. So I don't feel like we're having, like, some people are running for the hills, like, oh, the market's going to drop out. I don't believe that. I think there's the one issue that we have is the lack of inventory. And we've got to get the inventory back up. It looks like wages are starting to increase. So affordability is finally coming in line with the increase in the interest rates. So people can afford to buy houses. But a lot of buyers got scared, and they lost out on a lot of homes, and they got disheartened. They signed rental agreements. Getting them to reconsider coming back into the marketplace is where I think we need to spend some time. And I also think it's unfortunate that builders didn't keep strong and continue to purchase and continue to get their land development going, because now we're going to have even more shortages in that regard, because they put the brakes on. And
Yeah, I think banks pulled away. I think that's what happened to them. I think banks pulled
probably.
away from the space.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate.
Developers are never in the space. They don't care. If you give a developer money, they're just like, I'm going to build something somewhere. Like they don't care. But banks pulled away. And but I don't. Have you noticed in just the past few interviews that we've done? So everything was quiet in quarter 4, like eerily quiet, and then all of a sudden there's like a little bit of confidence that seemed to come back in the market early January. Did you guys see that? Have you seen that in the last?
We did. Yeah. Our December was actually fairly strong, so we were really lucky that way. But we're up here in Collegeville, though. I feel like we're in this little bubble of an area. We always seem to have a good amount of activity. The beginning of January was really brisk, but I'll tell you, the last week has been slower. So there was
us too. We noticed that too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure
why.
Really, me either. I don't know what it is, but hopefully that changes in the next week or two.
Yeah, I don't know what the catalyst will be, but I think you've got we're all in a place right now where like traditional real estate is going to be a little bit more dominant, and it's okay. Like it's fine because there's still a lot of real estate to be done. Traditional real estate. And I think that's going to pass over. I don't think this conversation is going to have to be had to have too many times. We're just going to, next time we have a conversation, it's going to be regular real estate's occurring, and that's fine. I do think, though, something you mentioned earlier was Mike McCann mentioned this when we were talking to him, was like there was some element of being in the office, even though you're right, you don't have to be in the office to sell something. There's an energy exchange. There's things that you can pick up on. Now I say that as I work remotely. So, but there is something in certain businesses, in certain types of businesses that feeds, like an energy that feeds. And the thing is, it's not tangible though. So you can't really, other than you can set, like, I think you said it best. Our best agents are in the office every day. Like rinse and repeat. Everybody do that. Right?
But I think a lot of people treat this business as a hobby. They don't think of it as a job, and it you almost have to stop and think of it as a job. Get yourself up in the morning, clock in, come in and do your basics, get your lead generation done in the morning, run around with your other stuff in the afternoon. But a lot of agents are so used to working at home. There's so many distractions. You're at home. It's like, oh, let me throw the wash in. Oh, I can start dinner. There's so many distractions. So I think coming to the office,
self-discipline is its own skill.
It's all about discipline.
Well, you didn't need that the last, 2 years, maybe longer, but just it was really compounded when COVID happened. You didn't need it. It didn't matter. You just put an ad out there and you didn't even have to be kind on it. I mean, you gave a pretty good specific earlier, the DISC assessment. We use that as well. And if anybody who's listening is not familiar with that, Google it. It's going to help with your sales immediately, because you said it directly. Most people communicate how they want to receive the sale, but in all actuality, that's usually not the case. It's a percentage of people that receive and hear things the same way you do. So your skill set is learning to be able to communicate with everybody in different ways.
That's right.
So there's a really good specific, tip that you gave. I hope people caught it. I mean, especially in times like this, when you do have to start getting the discipline going. If you lost it, you do have to start going to the office, and it's okay if you're not right now. You can always start now, right? Or if it's okay if you weren't, I guess you can always start now. So everything you said has just been gold. And so I don't know. I hope everybody rewatches this.
Self-discipline. I mean, all your agents, whether you call it or not, they're entrepreneurs, right? So as an entrepreneur, they just happen to hang a license in a brokerage. So as an entrepreneur, you have to be self-disciplined. There is no boss. So if you came in for a W-2, yes, that is not going to work out. But a self-disciplined individual that comes in there and they're not self-disciplined because they think they have to be. They're self-disciplined because that's just who they are. And that's also a learned trait. I didn't realize that till later in my career. That was something I must have learned early on. And then Ryan actually came in from corporate America, and that was a big shift for him when he got into this, having to learn that. So it is teachable. It can be learned, and you can be successful with it. But I think that's but not to jump topics on you, but Matt Mironoff has a question for you. He says, any insight on short sales? Are they coming back at all? Are you guys seeing that at all?
We just had a short sale come across my desk the other day. So that's a great question. I don't know, how many short sales we're going to see. I feel like we're in this weird spot. Some people are thinking there's going to be an onslaught of them. Some people feel there's not going to be many. I'm kind of hedging the middle of that, we're training the agents on them right now. We're working with a few short sale companies to figure out, how can we be ready for that? I don't know that we'll see too many more of those. I don't think maybe towards the end of the year, but there are one-offs for sure.
I've seen the one-offs come up too. I mean, I haven't seen any of them in like 2 years. I haven't even heard the word. Most people wouldn't even know how to work a short sale right now. But I have seen a couple that have come up like, hey, this isn't short sale. I was like, really?
I know. It's like, what?
Yeah, what do you mean? But yeah, I would say something potentially by the end of the year. I mean, what's going to happen, I think, is you're going to have some sort of catalyst or some sort of, a tranche of money that was originated 3 years ago, all of a sudden starts to come due in rapid fashion. And then
Right.
you're going to have some, I don't think we'll have like a 2008 again. That was a totally different beast.
Yeah.
But who knows? But
well, I think the regulations too changed so much after that whole mess. The people when they're buying their houses are at least able to afford them unless a life event happens or something. So I don't know that we're going to be in that same exact spot. I mean, you have student loans are probably the biggest issue for most buyers, with their affordability, and they're not going anywhere. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's been an excellent meeting today. Appreciate you coming on. Any agents or individuals that want to contact you, I didn't ask you. Is it okay that I put that email at the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
I should have asked you before the show. Okay.
Anytime. No problem.
Yeah, I'm just spamming your information out there.
Yeah,
so cool. So your information is there, and any agents that want to join your office, I can attest to. I watch your videos. I know you. I know the other KW offices as well. But if you're, in your market space in that Collegeville area, especially, I don't even know of any other brokerages in the area. So sorry if you're a brokerage in this area watching it, but Terese is the only one I know of. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. You've done your job.
I have scholarships for real estate schools. So if anybody's looking,
oh really? That's awesome.
Business, yep, give me a buzz.
There you go. So awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
See ya.